FC Porto up against it here as Riari Ave on the attack, almost scored the first goal through a long lob by Sergio China. The FC Porto goalkeeper going well for that, Hilario. Then a free kick taken by Porto, and watch the Brazilian Jardel, the man who had a work permit given to him, would have played in Scottish football this season, scoring the only goal of the game. FC Porto winning 1-0. Benfica in second place on the attack here against Espinho, and the ball touched in after Pandero Donizetti laid it on for Ilyu. 1-0 after 10 minutes. Benfica again, nice touch inside. Donizetti is brought down, and Valdo sweeping it through the wall. Then the breakaway. Donizetti touching it on to Luis Gustavo. 3-0. Easy win for Benfica. Sporting in the green and the black here, the famous hoops as Sapinto presente Gil Baiano, and then the final shot by Amunike. 10 minutes into the game, and Sporting in third place at the moment in the league go one up. But a mighty finish coming up. As that ball comes in, watch Uatara almost taking the net away. The man who used to play in the Swiss League, brought here this season. The final score, 2-0. Well, if you thought the last Bordeaux was good game for Bordeaux was good to look at, you ain't seen nothing yet, with a superb game about to come up with a challenge against Paris Saint-Germain. And the ball played by the Bordeaux players in their blue shirts here, going forward. Bar put the ball inside. Then it went on to Ziani for Jean-Pierre Papin. 4 minutes of the game gone, and he had scored his 7th goal of the season and his 141st goal in the history in the league. And even the French Prime Minister was applauding that effort. Bar having an outstanding game away in the right-hand side. Forges forward again. And sweeps the ball just past. A lot of the attacking coming down the right-hand side. Bar again. Ziani in the far side to Miku, who almost takes the bar away. Bar foraging down the right-hand side. It needs a perfect cutback. It's not all that perfect, but look at this glorious effort by Johan Miku. 2-0. One of the best goals of the season so far by the Bordeaux midfielder. Attack at the other end. Leonardo cutting into the box. The Brazilian passing 2 players, switches it across, and Loco has all the time in the world. 2-1 he made it there, his 5th goal of the season. Leonardo has turned out to be one of the best transfer deals of the season in French football. Much more an attacking player than he ever was in his Brazilian days. And Paris Saint-Germain giving the impression that we're going to come back strongly, perhaps even steal the game, as Rai touches it in 3 minutes from half-time. His 4th goal of the season, and that was 2-2. Ricardo on the left-hand side of the dugout there, appreciating his compatriot picking up the equaliser. Into the second half. Ziani to Colater. Colater breaking into the box. And the former Paris Saint-Germain player brought down by Algerino. Penalty kick, and only one man could surely take up this position. They were calling for Papa, and he steps forward, and it serves a purpose. 3-2. 8th goal of the season for the man making a wonderful comeback to French football. Now Rai putting it on. Loco touches the ball across, and there Deli Valdez, the equaliser, and his 7th goal of the season. Nicely weighty cross. And there's no way they would stop him there. A ball high in the air towards Roche. And unaccountably, this very professional player allowing Diawara to turn around him, and on it goes to Biagio to make it 4-3. And Lama can only contrive a rueful smile in goal. They cannot believe that mistake by Roche. He very rarely makes them like that. Could they come back from this situation? Again, Leonardo breaking with a long ball to Loco, back to Rai, and a glorious chance missed. And as a result, they were further punished. Biagio through to Diawara, and with only 7 minutes of the game remaining, it was 5-3. And Paris Saint-Germain heading for the second away defeat of the season, as Alain Juppé in centre stand, the Prime Minister, applauds with satisfaction. Free kick by Boncarel-Con, and a very good save by Barthez of Monaco. Substitutions, Henry and Ikpeba come in for Monaco, but only after 61 minutes, and the late substitution looks as if it will pay off when Ikpeba drives against the bar. And injecting great pace and aggression, both of them, and especially from this talented young player, Thierry Henry, breaking away, sneaking in behind the defense, and only 120 seconds remaining of the game, and no wonder Barthez was overjoyed as Monaco stole the winner. Bastia in the blue shirts at the receiving end of a lovely corner there, and a headed goal by Strasser after 71 minutes. Isaiah is putting it in perfectly. The fight back, Van der Castile to the head of Perez, and the fullback coming up, as he so often does for set positions, grabbing the equalizer with 10 minutes remaining. And then into stoppage time after this goal, when it looked as if Bastia were going to be left for dead. The equalizer, and then the dramatic winner. The ball turned round by Laurent. And only time left to centre. And the victory goes to the home side, Bastia. Ozier up against the Giras. Rango into the attack, and the ball swept across by Davo and Guivache for Rennes. Annoyed, he just missed that. Guivache, the leading goal scorer in France at the moment, and an ex-Ozier player scoring that glorious drive from just outside the box, past the very disappointed Charbonnier, and goal. And the man who's actually on loan from Auxerre to Rennes, given the fact that Auxerre have lost their strikers at the moment, scoring an ironic goal. The light blue of Strasbourg. And the first goal of the game by Zitelli, his 11th goal of the season against Cannes. Strasbourg were going for the 6th consecutive win at home. And the breakaway as Petit goes through on his own. No thought of squaring it to the side. And with 5 minutes of the game remaining, Strasbourg's home streak continues. An Olympique Marseille corner. The ball headed down there and it eventually poked into the net by Azoua. 18 minutes gone. Marseille haven't won a game away from home this season, so home wins are absolutely vital for them. Mark you, they've lost 3 at home as well. Struggling at the moment to find a stable form. Looked as if they had it, the corner by Libra, and watch this shot. Jambé, the name. Remaining admirably composed after scoring a goal like that. 2-0. Lens tried to fight back in this game. A long ball put through. Kopke comes out, and the scorer is Richkov. All the goals in this game coming in the first half. The German international goalkeeper annoyed, I think, more with his defense than with himself. Guingamp have gone 307 minutes without scoring a goal until Christopher Rennes there. The boy on loan from Monaco stepped up and scored against Nantes. Nantes on the fight back. Free kick by Gourvenec. And that was the final goal of the game. A very large crowd turned up to watch Seville against Real Madrid, and watch this man, Bebeto, back to Spanish football. Real Madrid in their blue shirts, their away strip, attacking immediately, and Mijatovic thundering through there to make it 1-0 after 15 minutes. Good control, perseverance, and a clinical finish, all adding up to a very good lead by Real Madrid. Starting off in this game looking triumphant, and aided again, the touch on by Raul to Suker, and a very one-sided player got it to his favorite left foot eventually. 2-0 after 29 minutes. Into the second half, centre by Rafa, pass to Salva, and he reduces the leeway. Seville are in 15th place, Real Madrid following on after Barcelona. The result of whose game we'll give later on, and that's put into the back of the net. At that stage, possible chance of a fight back until Mijatovic gets his second goal, his 8th of the season. The man who scored that goal for Yugoslavia against the Czech Republic recently. Compostela in the light blue in 8th position in the league. Deportivo La Coruña under pressure immediately, and a shot by Nacho there. Scrambled away. La Coruña on the attack. Corentin Martins up there, and the Frenchman unable to put it away, the man who used to play for Auxerre. Into the second half, free kick for Compostela and Penef. Another Frenchman there, Songo, who used to play in goal for Metz, now in Spanish football. No scoring in that game. Loss of the mighty fallen Zaragoza in the blue and white. Former holders of the Cup Winners' Trophy, now 20th in the league. And a goal there for Zaragoza by Danny from the centre by Lopez. Almost able to pick his spot in the net. 33 minutes gone, that was the opening goal. Into the second half. The ball down to Alexis. Goes for it himself, and with the aid of a deflection, he makes it 1-0. That goal coming 3 minutes into the second half. Zaragoza ought to have done much better than this, breaking through again. Alexis scooping it over the bar with the goal at his mercy. They still push forward. Belsui giving the ball away in the far side there. Danny controls it and scores his second goal of the game. The player you're seeing here started his football in the ranks of the Real Madrid youth team. Now Danny goes in stupidly to Alfonso. He may have scored 2 goals, but he can't tackle. That's very much an attacker's tackle and a penalty area. Up steps Alexis. And like Danny, his second goal of the game and the final score. Athletic Bilbao on the attack. Going down this right-hand side in 7th place against Gijón in 17th, and gloriously headed in by Urzáez. The opening goal coming very early, just on 5 minutes. Gijón on the reply. Sergio manages to keep his balance, and the ball slips through the goalkeeper's grasp. And Gijón back on level terms after only 10 minutes. Now Kisa going forward here. Getting an opening and shooting to make it. 2-1 was Guerrero. Watch him pick this up. Spanish international on good form. Robel now streaming forward. Echeverria squaring the ball to Ziganda. His 8th goal of the season, bringing him on level terms with Suker. Good control by Echeverria though. And an excellently weighted pass. Bilbao still going very strongly. Suspicion of offside here as the ball is played to Ziganda, and then he makes the goalkeeper and the central defender look quite ridiculous. Ziganda's 9th goal of the season. No flag from the linesman, and entitled to go straight into goal. Alquiza gives it to Ziganda, and he does the rest. Now Gijón trying to get back into the game. The home side had really been taken apart. Salinas puts it to Chevseyev, and in comes Salinas, and that really ought to have been saved. Squeezing over the line. And on a wet night, perhaps there's some reason for excuse for that kind of goalkeeping. Bilbao really should have gone further ahead when Ziganda had a rather weak header at goal. Comfortable window in the end for Athletic. Espanyol on the attack. Nice little cut inside, and Benitez shoots at goal. And after the third effort, the goalkeeper getting down to it. Molina in goal, doing very well there. Now, Snyder puts the ball inside. And Caminero almost touches it away as Pantic came in to help him out. Into the second half. 2 minutes gone. The ball squared there, beautifully down from Snyder to Caminero and into the back of the net. 1-0. Deservedly so on pressure. Excellent control by the Spanish international. And more to come. Caminero for Santi. And delightfully chipped away. 2-0 after 62 minutes. Espanyol out of it at that stage. And really ought to have scored when Benitez given a chance. It looked much easier to find a net. He misses it badly. And as Snyder comes up, but the linesman on the far side has his flag up. Snyder, the Argentinian, not liking that. And now Benitez driving forward. It was a mistake by Bezbol. The ball was given to Xavi. He pushes it through. 10 minutes to go. And it was a sting in the tail. Kiko, after this, was sent off. Red carded. Real Sociedad. Here they are on the attack against Rayo Vallecano. 9th and 11th positions respectively. And on a gluish pitch, Kovacevic scoring the first goal of the game after 31 minutes. The ex-Sheffield Wednesday player controlling it well. This took some doing on this kind of turf, and it just got over. 1-0. Sociedad again, the goalkeeper out bravely, but Craioveanu, the man who's named after his hometown in Romania, comes up to score his 5th goal of the season. 2-0 after 33 minutes for Real Sociedad. Now Vallecano. Nice chip across. Brilliantly finished by De Quintana. 5 minutes from half-time. It was 2-1. And into the second half, and a dreadful blunder by De Quintana, who had scored that splendid goal and now scored splendidly against his own team. Tenerife on the attack as Codro just puts it past against Hercules. Hercules, the bottom club in the Spanish First Division. And good saves by the goalkeeper there after the centre by Llorente, but when the ball comes back out here from the header by Codro, up steps Robiana to make it 1-0, 3 minutes into the second half. Now Llorente on Jankovic, the referee points to the spot, rather surprisingly. Up steps Alfaro, his 5th goal of the season for a club that's only scored 8 goals all season. And then Llorente getting the final touch after Codro touches it back to him there. 2-1 with 2 minutes of the game left. And now on from Felipe to Codro. He chips it away right on the final whistle. Tenerife well in front. (3-1) the final score. And Hercules, even at this stage, look doomed for relegation. Logroño is in 19th position. Celta Vigo on the attack here. And that's slipped away by Gudelj. He came in after 54 minutes for Ratkovic. And in the 58th minute, he opened the scoring. Corner for Logroños, and Marin gets his head to it. Now Vigo on the attack again. Dutuel, French player, Sends a nice little ball in and to the head of Gitzi. 2-0 after 68 minutes. Delightfully glided into the net. Now a free kick. Ruben Sosa with it, driving it straight to the goalkeeper. Another corner for Vigo. Ahead of Marino and then off the line by Estefano. It looked as if the ball had gone over the line, but no dispute about this one. Crossed by Dutuel, the header by Gudelj for his second goal of the game. A comfortable win for Celta Vigo. Day 16 this time. Willem II have the ball going through against PSV. And the Willem II player you see putting it at the back of the net is Konterman. 1-0. Only 17 minutes left of the game as that ball was put through. Very slack defense. Stan Welch left for dead. And PSV beaten. So could Feyenoord pick up here. Corner for Heerenveen. Visa got behind it. Ed de Guy right under pressure. And eventually back to Visa and on to Straal, and Straal drives it into the net. The 60th minute. And the coach there, Forpy de Haan, absolutely delighted. The pressure had paid off. Visa had done a lot of the work and then put it back to Straal. That's Visa. And up comes Straal. Feyenoord beaten. Nak against Ajax. Nak attacking here. And Wiedmar deciding to go on his own. Puts it away. Glorious goal. 15 minutes gone. And remember that man there, Rijsbergen, from the famous team of 74 and 78. The Dutch national side, the coach now of NAC. And Wiedmar's control was splendid. A gap opening up for him there. And too many Ajax defenders leaving it to one another. And he punished them. Tussle in midfield. Stabrick picks it up, looking towards Stewart, and finds him. The USA international going forward to make it 2-0 in the 36th minute, and Rijsbergen celebrates again. So, the three top clubs in Holland all beaten on the same day. A glorious ball put through there by Stabrick. And Ernie Stewart, the man who scored recently against Guatemala, putting it away. 2-0. La Gantoise in 13th place against Standard in first. And the attack here by La Gantoise, Jabari sends it right through a very slack-looking defense to Barca, Mohamed Barca. And in the 11th minute, it became 1-0 to La Gantoise. Standard in first place, of course, in Belgian football at the moment. And then a long ball played back in the second half. Slipped through the middle. And Schepens looks up, and the ball trundles through there. Schepens with the equalizer. And perhaps a little surprised that, well, a weak-looking shot from there managed to get in with the aid of a deflection. Skapins along from midfield, going right through the middle. A brilliant little run, and it looks as if he scored, but he didn't. Just scraped the right-hand post. He couldn't believe it himself. And a dreadful mistake by defender Thies here, giving the ball simply away. De Vries crosses, and Jabari contrives to get it over the line. His 10th goal of the season, and the goalkeeper, Mass, is looking very disconsolate. It's a ball that should never have crossed that line. Cercle Bruges in green, really up against it, against Club Bruges. A repeat of last season's cup final this, and the opening goal scored by Club Bruges. A cross by Bokelmans to Robert Specha, the Croatian, and Specha tucks away his 8th goal of the season. A cosmopolitan touch to the Club Bruges side. Specha, the Croatian, puts it to Nielsen, the Danish player, and he scores his 5th goal and the 2nd of the game. Club Bruges going strongly and getting to the top of the league now. Mouscron in 3rd place. And here, a Mouscron player going through, sending it inside, put in by Dugardin for the 1st goal. Mouscron 1 up after 42 minutes. They went further ahead only 2 minutes later. Ball played in by Lemoine, shot of Vidovic. Petri deflected it, and Danny Lenny came up. He gets the final touch. 2 goals in 2 minutes, just before halftime. Into the second half. This time Charleroi fighting back. And it goes Bombrogno, the head of Bernicic. And it's 2-1 after 52 minutes. No chance of a comeback now when Lemoine takes a free kick. Van Durme flicks it up, and Lenny, coming up, scores his 2nd goal of the game. The final score, 3-1. Anderlecht in the white shirts, of course, looking pristine clean, and so was some of the football. Zetterberg, Swedish player from well out, 18 meters, slashing that ball into the back of the net after 16 minutes. 1-0. And very much the cosmopolitan touch again with his side as the Nigerian Obiara makes it 2-0 after Obiara had linked with De Bilde. 3rd one coming up, corner by Zetterberg, and a header by Baseggio. An 18-year-old player, his 2nd goal of the season. One-way traffic now, Anderlecht on the attack, Van der Paar to Aubria, to Van der Paar, and then Katana coming in from the outside, making it 4-0. And Milesevic pulling one back, not the other Milesevic, but Germinal's Milesevic, 4-1 with 8 minutes remaining. And Anderlecht quite happy to be going well at the moment in the Belgian league. PSV at the top of the league, regardless of their European failure, going very strongly. And here they are in the attack. Marcelo for Petrovic. On to Marcelo again, and the opening goal for PSV. Top of the league, Volendam, the opponents in 10th place. And Marcelo scoring that first goal in 18 minutes. Dick Advocat looking slightly pleased about that. He rarely smiles. The ball neatly played by Petrovic here on to Marcelo. The pressure continued. The man who takes the corner kicks, that great midfield player, Wim Jonk. Onto the head of Stam, and Marcelo's there to pick up the little crumb and put it right into the basket. Marcelo. 2 goals inside 10 minutes. A confident start by PSV, ridding themselves of the nightmare they had in European football and heading for the Champions League. That is their big intention and ambition. Coco for Nielisch, back inside again, and Nielisch picks up, sweeps the ball in for the 3rd goal and his 12th of the season, top of the Dutch scoring list. Clean as a whistle, this attack. The way it started, the way it developed, and the way it finished. More to come, though. Ball onto the head of Marcelo, onto Petrovic. And in it went. The man who had made the goal for Marcelo in the first place is repaid. A return pass, dejection for the Volendam defense. And a goal for Petrovic. 4-0 after 58 minutes. PSV rampant. Beautifully put down there by Marcelo. But there had to be a lot of work done after that. It required the finest of judgment. And now Vink in midfield. He finds Petrovic going through on his own. He took it wide, and the goalkeeper confused by that. Going for the near rather than the far post, and it paid off. And if he takes his shirt from his face, we'll show him the slow motion replay. Here he goes, driving forward, the goalkeeper, I think, expecting it to his left-hand side. Now Wim Jonk going to the right-hand side. Little header down there by de Gruyter, and Van Petter puts the ball in. 6-0. I think one could conclude, even at this stage, just before the year ends, that PSV are going to be very hard to catch in the Dutch league. Slightly lucky there's the ball coming to him, but Van Petter taking the best of the chance. Graafschap against Feyenoord. Feyenoord on the ball here, trying to recover from that shock defeat in Europe by Tenerife, very much like PSV. They could not get into the stride in European football, but they got into the stride immediately after beautiful play between Sanchez and Larsen. And Sanchez scoring the opening goal in 14 minutes. Beautiful little back heel by the Swedish international. One of the players who actually played quite well in European football, Larsen. And now Kleis goes on the left. It comes to Sanchez, and with the defense looking very static and very flat, he punctures it. Goal in the 39th minute there. Now into the second half, terrible error there. Graafschap losing the ball, and Larsen going through. He thought for a moment of passing that ball on to Sanchez, decided to go himself. And he made it 3-0, 3 minutes into the second half, with the aid of a tiny deflection. And our number 3 going forward there. A little bit of a push. Kleiss put it on for Torment. And a foul by Hendricks. Penalty kick. Would want to face up to Ronald Koeman for a penalty. Not this goalkeeper. And the keepers can never tell whether they're going to get one of his blitzkrieg shots or the deft little push. It was the latter this time. 4-0. "20 in red on the attack against Utrecht." 20 in third place, Utrecht in ninth. It seemed like an easy game to start off with. There was a lot of pressure, and the penalty awarded, foul by Robbermond on Bosveld. Nice little swerve, change of intention altogether, and penalty. Robbermond tries to look innocent, but Bosman takes no chances. 24 minutes gone and 20 were 1 goal up. Thus keeping up the challenge in the league. Into the second half. Little ball placed in there, and isn't that a delightful goal? His second of the game by Bosman. And it does show you how easily the ball can be deflected away from the goalkeeper if the timing is right. 4 points to 20. The final score, 2-0. Sparta in red and white here against Vitesse. Vitesse on the attack immediately. Solson for Kudovic. Kudovic on to Mackay. And up he comes to score his first goal of the game. 33 minutes gone, and one of the most prolific scorers in Dutch football takes his chance, sweeping that away. Into the second half. Vitesse going strongly. Virka for Jochesen. On to Kudovic. Kudovic with a shot. Up comes Mackay again. His second of the game and his 10th, I beg your pardon, his 12th of the season. Let's not detract from what he has done, because it puts him upsides, look nillish in the goal-scoring list. Although very good work indeed by Kudovic. Good stop by Medgod. But Mackay coming in for the finish. Now Sparta on the attack. A little bit of a consolation here. Fortis for Krigsman. And Krigsman puts it behind the goalkeeper, tucking it in neatly. And that made it 2-1. Beautiful little dummy there. And Krigsman took advantage. It was, of course, the game that attracted not only the whole of Spain, but the whole of Europe. Names to conjure with. Real Madrid on the attack here against Barcelona. Top of the league against third-place team. And Real in the ascendancies to start off, but a riposte there by Barcelona. And the header for Popescu getting it down. Off the line by Victor. Bobby Robson totally engrossed. And this is first big encounter in Madrid for Barcelona. The shot there, as the ball came from Suker to Mijatovic, back to Suker, and the shot by the big Croatian. Still no goals at this stage, and then watch Roberto Carlos. A mistake by Luis Enrique, and up came Suker. First goal of the game, and his 13th of the season. That's the mistake by that very dependable, normally dependable player, Luis Enrique, allowing Suker to come in by the back door. Barcelona on the attack after this. Figo with a great cross after that dribble. The head of Ronaldo. And so much talk about the value of this man. Well, no matter what he is like individually, he needed help on the day. It didn't come as often as he would have liked. But a great shot by Ronaldo again. And Bodo Illgner in the goal, bringing off save after a remarkable save. And once again, the head of Laurent Blanc. The attack by Barcelona again, and just past the post. The shot by Guardiola, who had an outstanding game. Then Hierro with a brilliant ball, and Suka chipping underneath it. These only a very condensed section of a marvelous game of football. Wonderfully flowing. And this time, as the ball was put from Mijatovic to Suka to Seedorf, it ended up with Mijatovic, his 9th goal of the season and the 2nd goal of the night. And the tussle's beginning to see who could get in there for the equaliser. Once again, Laurent Blanc coming up for that. The big French international might be slightly ponderous in defence now, but he's very useful, and what a miss there. The head of Nadal off the crossbar. Ronaldo trying to come in to finish it off, an unfortunate bound. Now Blanc for Ronaldo. Ilgner there again. Tremendous pressure at this stage by Barcelona. The cross by Nadal. And Ronaldo off the post. And the final one here by Laurent Blanc. The end of a marvellous game. Real looked like kings again. The free kick for Deportivo. Against Valencia, the ball swept in there as Martins put it to the side to Donato. And Deportivo on the attack again. The ball just touched inside, and there was the only goal of the game, scored by the Frenchman who came from Auxerre, Corentin Martins, 1-0. Betis in green and white on the attack here against Logroñez. It should have been an easy victory, but they had to toil to start off with to get the opening goal. Vidakovic, the Bosnian, 27 years of age, the man who came from Sarajevo, scoring the opening goal in 18 minutes. Betis, 1 up. And as the supporters acknowledge that goal, the second one coming up 17 minutes later, centre by Yanni, the Croatian, to the head of Pierre, the man who came from Tenerife in the close season. That was 2-0. $40,000 people watching this. Logroñez trying to get something back, and they did. Shot by Morales, and Clolet came in to make it 2-1. Betis came back after that. Finidi George pinning it across with his head. I can't recall him heading a ball before, but he did this time. On to the feet of Rios to make it 3-1. It's usually Finidi George who supplied centres like the one he got his head to there. 3-1 at that stage, and Betis now in total command. Yanni again getting it up, and Rios driving it in strongly. 4-1. And by now the team, almost inevitably going for relegation, had to suffer the indignity of a deflection there. The shot by Alexis, and all that Pierre did was re-divert it into the ruck of players. A bit fortunate, but 5-1 the final score. Athletic Bilbao against Atletico Madrid. Athletic Bilbao in the red and white had to suffer that first goal scored by Pantic after an excellent little chip across goal by Kiko. He had to wrestle free of his marker. He did it splendidly and well matched by that header by Pantic. That was 4 minutes from half-time. And then a wonderful goal there by Guerrero onto Echeverria, and Echeverria picking it up, slipping inside, and equalized. Santander playing against Real Sociedad in the green stockings here, and the ball turned back to Santander. The ball is lost, the ball put across goal, and Real Sociedad opening the scorer. Kovacevic, the Yugoslavian, who'll be playing against Spain this weekend, putting Real 1 goal up. Santander trying to push back. And a goal there by Alvaro. Putting it on to Salazar. Salazar eventually getting the final touch. Now Sociedad coming back, centre by Kovacevic. And in it goes. His second goal of the game, the man who might be tormenting Spain this weekend. 2-1. Gijon attacking here against Celta Vigo. Simple goal as Bango takes the ball right through the middle. 20 minutes gone, and the visitors Gijon in 16th place in the league against Celta Vigo in 12 had gone 1 up. Vigo coming back in reply. Nice little back heelder, Mostovoy for Vivo, and the Israeli international flicking the ball away. 15 minutes from the interval. The man who came from Maccabi Tel Aviv with a delightful left-footed drive gets the equalizer. Vigo in action again, second half. Last minute of the game. The shot by Vivo and the headed goal by Jaime Gonzalez. It proved to be the winner. Tenerife in white here back after the remarkable triumph in Rotterdam. But going a goal down here against Oviedo. The ball played in by Ivan to Oli. And in 16 minutes, Oviedo were 1 up. Then Penilla sending the ball inside to Juanelli, who scored 2 goals in every one of his 3 European games. Good record for Juanelli, who might take the eye of Xavier Clemente, the Spanish coach. And then Tenerife on the attack again just before half-time. Channel for Juanelli again, and he sneaked that one in. Then Oviedo lose the ball in midfield, and Jokanovic putting that ball in there. They try to get back on this, and they do. On to Pablo Paz. And despite all the complaints, the goal stood. 4 minutes to go, 3-1 the final score. Espanyol in blue and white on the attack. Torres. Juani in goal, has no chance with a header by Francisco. 30 minutes gone, 1-0. Espanyol in 14th place, Zaragoza at the receiving end of this goal in 18th. And then a second yellow card for Torres, and he's sent off with a smile on his face. perhaps of disbelief. A free kick for Espanyol, onto the head of Pochettino, the Argentine, and it was 2-0 just before half-time. Well judged free kick, and the South American with the deftest of touches. Then a centre for Luis, looking for Wadek, and the French international foiled by the goalkeeper. Another free kick, this time Cristobal onto Wadek, and this time he makes it 3-0. The man who surely will be in the French squad for the World Cup. Finishing like this makes him a certainty. It seemed like a perfectly ordinary night. Paris at home, unbeaten at home, looking like winning at home against the second bottom of the league team, and especially when Ngotti put them 1 up after exactly 2 minutes. But Bruno Ngotti's goal was to turn out to be a little false dawn. Thereafter, Paris Saint-Germain struggled to put the ball in the back of the net. Ball by Leonardo right across the local there, and even missed by Dele Valdez. A good save, though, by the goalkeeper Gregory Wimby, who became the first French goalkeeper ever to score a goal in the French league. And that was last week. And that ball off the post as he rattled shot after shot against the team lowly in the league. Into the second half, still more pressure. Leonardo going through. Good shot there. Leonardo eventually injured and will be out to the end of January. And then the headed goal in there, the equalizer. Avane puts it over, and Fischer, against the run of play in 65 minutes, made it 1-1. And then, surprise, surprise. Remember, this is the Parc des Princes. And as Nancy scored the winner in 90 seconds, it was so reminiscent of the way that Kostadinov silenced the stadium in the World Cup. The famous colors of Lens, yellow and red. They have a marvelous support. They're not getting on the field what they ought to deserve. Lens in 14th place, and Nantes, with a captain, Yafet Nduram, scoring in 7 minutes, picking up the ball very neatly, and that makes him equal top scorer in France with 14 goals. Then a very bad pass back there, Mariches onto the goalkeeper. Savino puts it down to Makaleli, who makes it 2-0. Into the second half. A very hard tackle there by Regis on Nduram. And despite his protest, he had to go. Nduram puts it on to Gurbanek, and Gurbanek puts it easily into the back of the net. 3-0, and his 7th of the season. And then Pino driving it in. 18 minutes from the end. The final score, 4-0. The PSG result meant, of course, that Monaco could go to the top of the table with a win. And Monaco went up against Guingamp in the blue here, who had that first shot, early shot at goal. And a glorious drive there by the Scottish international John Collins, who's now scored 3 vital goals for his club, and one domestically and one in Europe. And Thierry Henry going through. A little unselfish there. He could have gone on his own, and it was still no scoring. He put that one in the back of the net, but the referee disallowed it. Then a break by Guingamp. Ray to Ruxel. He looks up. Right across to Ray from Lecomte, and Ray, the man on loan from Monaco, misses a sitter. And the last shot in the game, Thierry Henry off the post. But Monaco go to the top on goal difference. Bastia in 5th place against Nice in 20th. The new coach from Nice, Simon Takac, the man who used to coach Sochaux, looking at his new charge. He's losing a goal in the 17th minute from the head of Anton Drobniak. Bastia 1 up. Up he goes. His 11th of the season. Into the second half. Nice on the attack. The ball to Denif. A little bit of a deflection by Perez, and over it goes. An unfortunate moment for a team struggling at the bottom of the French First Division. Auxerre now in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. One of the great phenomenon of European football, this club. Starting off as an amateur club, now up there with the Giants, and last long getting that touch straight into the arms of Baudard, the Belgian goalkeeper. A long pass upfield, ball falling to Miku. He gets himself a little bit of room and delightfully comes out away from the goalkeeper. So Bordeaux against the run of play. Well, what up? And look at that man there. His name is Giroud, although he does sometimes look like a rather taciturn bulldog. Well, if Giroud wasn't happy with this, you can imagine what happened when the ball was swept away after so many shots at goal. And looked as if Auxerre were going to suffer a frustrating night. Last line going into the box, slipped the ball in, and that was the equalizer. Last long successfully back after 3 months off from injury. Now Saïd, that marvellous midfield player, on Tamale, who scored a goal that was significant against Rangers, which took them effectively into the Champions League quarter-final by his great pace, and that pace brought about a penalty kick with that very late tackle there, although it looked as if the defender Coletier had been after the ball. Penalty to Lasland, and taken too precisely. And a shrewd shrug of the head there by Giroud. But the attacking, the continual attacking paid off as a young player, Lepore, came in. And that was the winner, 2-1 to Auxerre. Strasbourg and the yellow shirts have been going extremely well in the French division. 8 games without defeat, and now against Le Havre. And a goal in the 24th minute as Dorosu swept the ball across to the head of Kosniku. 1-0 to Le Havre in 15th place, Strasbourg in 4th. That gave them more and more confidence. Kousman to Roger Boli, brother of Basil, and right off the post. And then the man about whom there are rumours about leaving French football and leaving Le Havre for Arsenal, Teddy Berthe, the team captain, taking a glorious free kick. 2-0, the final score. Metz on the attack. Blanchard looking up, trying to find Pires, Robert Pires, and the ball coming off the Marseille bar. Kopke was nowhere there, and nowhere there again as that ball was headed off the line. Gaultier saving from Strasser. So Metz in 7th place against Marseille in 11th. Still up against it, Pires, who was brilliant against Newcastle and attracting attention now from clubs all around Europe. Brought down here. Penalty kick. He takes it himself. And this surely is going to be one of the most valuable players in Europe. Made his French full team debut against Turkey only 6 weeks ago. And there Pedros, his international clubmate, sending the ball against the post. Now fouled by Gravelin on Terrier, and Gravelin is red carded, the 9th red card Marseille have had this season. Pedros goes into the box again. A long ball there, headed by Libro, onto Pedros, fouled by Song. The penalty awarded, and Roy shoots the equalizer. Then the free kick by Lang at the end, and Andreas Kopke, German international keeper, makes the score still 1-1. Leon on the wide on the attack. Gier, who was to have an outstanding night for them, putting the ball in, getting it back and whipping the ball in for the opening goal. All the goals coming in the second half in this game. Lyon against Caen in the green. Caen very low in the league, 18th, and looking like staying there after that goal by Gier. Lyon needed the points. They were slipping up recently, had slumped to 12th place. And very careless defensive work in defense, allowing Gaba, Frank Gaba, to go around the outside and then cut diagonally back. 2-0 after 70 minutes. Then an excellent tackle there by Back, finds Gaba. Gaba looking up, finds the youngster inside. And 20-year-old Gier scores his 5th goal of the season to make it 3-0 for Lyon. Free kick for Rennes against Lille. The ball headed brilliantly in there by Carterol from Bignet's free kick. And I think the velocity of the header rather than the mist shrouding the ground caused the goalkeeper not to see that. Foul of Hamsamounian on Lambert, and a red card for the defender. And all this happening in the last 60 seconds of the game. The red card, the attack there. Le Pen has the shot, and up comes the Norwegian international Rekdal to score the second goal, just as the referee put his whistle to his mouth. 2-0, the final score. Can against Montpellier. Can on the attack here, the red and the white, a glorious shot there, and a superb bicycle kick by Leroy to score the only goal of the game. Can and Montpellier lowly down in the league. They needed that result and got it in the most spectacular fashion. 1-0 to Cannes. Cup time in Belgium. Ostend in the yellow against Anderlecht in white, and a sign of the times that not a single Anderlecht player is in the Belgian squad for that very important game against Holland this weekend. And the opening goal by Anderlecht, though, the header by Dole, as Zetterberg sent over the perfect cross. Out to the coast, they had gone for this cup tie, and the journey was certainly not wasted, as Vallon put it to Preco, and Preco sent in that delightful little chip. 2-0 after 58 minutes. Up and over. And Anderlecht had got over the hurdle of Ostend. FC Bruges in blue had lost against Schalke in the UEFA. And the SC managed by Eric Gerrits. Remember the famous player involved in the Stade de Liège scandal? Well, FC Bruges going one up. Borkelmans putting it over beautifully for the head of Vermont. And the SC, as I said, managed by Eric Gerrits. 1 goal down. The SC trying to fight back. Ball played by Hagduren inside to Peters, and Peters turning unexpectedly, and I think the goalkeeper may have thought there was going to be a cutback. In goal, recognize him. We might get a little glimpse of him. Stanley Menzo, ex-Ajax. One each at that time into the second half, and a cross here by Hagduren. And up came Karel Snoeks. Young player, 23 years of age, considered one of the outstanding players in the league. And that made it 2-1. The SC now in the lead. Free kick to Bruges. Van der Els puts it in. And Robert Speer comes forward as the defense came out, claiming offside. The linesman kept his flag down. So the Croatian had pulled the back level. And the ball played right across there. Into extra time, that goal. The cross by De Souza, and in extra time, Snoek scored his second goal of the game. 3-2 to Liassi. In the white here, their last victory was on the 14th of September. But to get that early goal in the cup against Mouscron, who is second in the Belgian league, a goal from Bamfy in 27 minutes. Second half, Meissen cuts down the left, and Lenny trying to prevent the ball reaching the other side of the penalty area, rams it into his own net. An own goal. 2-0. And now Sanju going through, De Queer in goal, lets it go right through him. A dreadful error. And Als, as I said, had waited from the 14th of September in league football for a victory. They've had it now in the cup.
Well, the winter break can't come quick enough for Ajax coach Louis van Gaal. The former Dutch, European and World Club champions have yet to put out a full-strength squad this season. And against PSV on Sunday, they came up against the side likely to succeed them as Dutch league champions. But it was Ajax who made the early running, Patrick Kluivert intercepting a sloppy back pass. And the goalkeeper, Waterus, did well to collect, and Kluivert desperately disappointed. From then on, though, it was almost one-way traffic. Vink makes his way to the byline and wins the corner from the challenge of Kiki Musamba. The corner taken by Jonk, and it's the header from Cocu off the line by Mark Overmars in a similar situation from the game a couple of weeks ago against Grasshoppers in the European Champions League. Overmars in the right position at the right time, and the follow-up shot from Jonk over the top of the bar. Once again, you can see Overmars perfectly positioned. The goalkeeper too doing very well. And Musamba found Kiki Babangida in acres of space, and he in turn fed Kluivert, but the shot didn't carry sufficient power to trouble the keeper. Again, poor defensive work from Ajax. Allowed PSV to build down the right, and the opening goal came from Jonk. Jonk initially involved in the build-up, linking well with Petrovic and Nilis. But there wasn't a marker in sight as he stroked the ball past Van der Sar. Nilis finding Vink again. Musampa was tracking back. The keeper did extremely well to come out and cover. But once again, Ajax are caught. 7 minutes into the second half, Marcio Santos appears for Melchwa. Inside the penalty area, and that will be a penalty. A controversy reigned only moments after this. The referee, incidentally, Dick Jol, was suspended last year over a betting scandal. And Santos, who had been on the field no less than 75 seconds, makes his way off it, and it's not been a good week for him. 7 days ago, he was sent off for the first time. Now, from the free kick, it was Eldkamp touching the ball just over the top of the Ajax bar. Still, it was all one-way traffic through the second half. Newman, Nilis and Petrovic once more. The ball getting stuck underneath his feet. Van der Sar doing well. Both the bars, and then finally in the back of the net. But the referee has blown his whistle. It was a handball. Very good piece of referee. 15 minutes remaining, and still Ajax were looking for their first attempt on goal in the second half. At the other end, Nilis and Vink combining again, and Van der Sar escaping once again. The pitch came in for some more criticism after this match. PSV still weren't finished. Valix to Zenden. Nilis is there, totally unselfish, and PSV took a 2-goal lead. Problems then continue to pile up for Van Gaal and Ajax. PSV remain on course. Very unselfish play by Zenden to set up Luke Nilis. Feyenoord have closed the gap in recent weeks on leaders PSV. Their form suggested that anything other than a victory here would be a major surprise. NEC were making all the running in the opening minutes, but a sloppy back pass found Sanchez, who found Taumel, who found the goal only just. Well, from an attacking position, a rather poor pass. Suspicion of offside, and the keeper, well, he was miles away. Now the directory opted for De Roy's goal kick, and Larsen very close indeed. Still Feyenoord, though, couldn't make the best of the possession that they were enjoying in the first half. Almost total supremacy, but still just the one goal on a rather bumpy pitch. Into the second half, and a surprise. NEC's first real attack of the second half. And they scored from it. Graf's goal So the home supporters rather wild. Nobody there to mark Graf from Putillo's cross. Ronald Koeman can still deliver an accurate ball. The keeper's punch was less so, and the Sanchez's shot was saved on the line by Mays. Koeman involved in this move again, a long ball finding Voss's head. A scrappy build-up, eventually the ball finding its way through, and it's Campbell who got Feyenoord second. Feyenoord then stay on course for a New Year assault on the title. The NEC, it's to be the continuation of a struggle to survive in Holland's top division. Den Scheder, as with Feyenoord, continue to close in on PSV. They're currently third, 8 points off the top team PSV. An early goal, but it's disallowed by the referee Koopman. A foul on Brugink. Nothing much then happened in the rest of the first half. Into the second half, and it was quite a fairer game. Bosman finding Ten Hag. Arnold Brugink, one of the rising stars of the Dutch game, maintains his composure to score the only goal of the game. And Scheder stay hot on the heels of the top two. AZ continue to slide into trouble. Top game of the day in the Belgian League between second place Brugge and fifth place Harelbeke. It was always going to be a tight affair. Medved's header, Frunze, the Romanian, followed it in at the opening goal for Harelbeke. Again from the cross, a high ball, this time Verschelde, and his header clearly beating the keeper, who was partially unsighted. Celebrations then for the coach. He's a former coach of Bruges back in '88. He won the league title with them. Bruges then are yet to pick up a point this month. Harelbeke moved to within 5 points of the top. Now, in different individual form and team inconsistencies continue to dog the progress of Belgium's former Premier team. This weekend, though, they produced one of their better performances. De Vilde shooting wide after only 10 minutes. The first goal came only moments later. Wallam's cross, and Babayaro, the Nigerian, getting the opening goal. Plenty of controversy was yet to come in this game, but still Anderlecht weren't finished. Piermans, De Vilde, and Prico just wide, agonizingly so, of the post. The Nigerian Babayaro was enjoying a very good first half. Ivan Zetterberg, and De Vilde's shot once more forcing the keeper to save acrobatically. Zetterberg easily dispossessed. Temmerman. And a challenge from behind. Surely a penalty, they claim. Not, said the referee. Into the second half, and from this free kick, the ball skimming across the top of the bar. shot was saved on the line by Mason with his hand. Off he goes for deliberate handball. During the penalty and the incidents just before, as you look at this handball on the line, De Wilde punched Porte in the face. He was carried off the field with a broken nose and an injured eye socket. The referee didn't see it. Zetterberg made it 2-0. But since this game finished, De Wilde has been suspended indefinitely. That's the incident, with Porte on the floor, the injury around the eye, and De Wilde, incidentally, is yet to stand trial for an incident outside of football when he headbutted a nurse at a hospital whilst he was on his way to visit his sick father. So De Wilde, the former Belgian Player of the Year, is now being suspended indefinitely by his club Anderlecht. There was the incident. Well, the previous incident really did knock the remaining stuffing out of Aalst. And that shot well saved, but they couldn't survive it, making it 3-0. All of that, though, means that Anderlecht are still 9 points and 7 places off the top. A European place is the season's objective. Mouscron have been neck and neck with Club Bruges all season at the top, and they could go back there today with victory over Lommel. Lemoine's crossed the goalkeeper. Hash of the day drops the ball over the line. Well, Matheson will need an awful long time to live this one down. 2 players on the line, he collects it, but he's stumbling as he goes back. He can't maintain his feet, falls with the ball, and it's touched in. Now from the free kick, Lemoine. Number 2. They've surprised everybody this season. Mouscron, it's their first season in the Belgian top flight. And they're now sitting comfortably on top. To their credit, they still continue to press forward, looking for more goals. Vidovic, Penza, the cross from Nobon, and Lemoine couldn't control his volley. Penza and Lemoine involved again. As they set up Dugardine for the cross. And Matheson going some way to redeeming himself with a brave dive at the feet of Mpenza. Two-nil at half-time. It wasn't long before 2 became 3. Dugardine, Mpenza and Mabo, and it's 3-0. The ease of this victory, though, emphasises the growing gulf in quality of the teams in Belgium's top division. The final score, 3-0 to Mouscron. They go top. With bribery and corruption allegations, clubs on the edge of bankruptcy and falling attendances, Portuguese football is in the midst of its worst ever crisis. Some things, though, do remain constant in Portugal, and it seems only force majeure or act of God will prevent Porto from winning another title. Yardel getting the opening goal for them yesterday afternoon. A second goal was no real surprise. The goalkeeper flapping at a long-range attempts by Valente, and Yardel on hand to get the second. And the second half, Belenenses' defence shored up quite a bit. Figueroa losing the ball there. Artur intercepts. Julovic and Artur again. And off the post, denying a third goal. And that was about it for the afternoon. Mid-table Belenenses put up a brave resistance, but they were ultimately no real match for the champions-elect, even at Christmas, FC Porto. If there are to be challenges to Porto's crown, then it is likely to come from Benfica. At home to Maritmo, they were confidently expected to, well, win and win with ease. Finto showing the same sort of problems that he's experiencing in the national side at the moment. Plenty of possession inside the penalty area, a touch of poor control, and nothing left to finish with. Maritmo had chances of their own. Well, maybe he was looking for a possible professional foul. Still goalless at the end of the first half. Valdo quickly takes the free kick, and Bino onto the crossbar. A very disappointing afternoon then for Benfica, failing to overcome a side that really is struggling to survive in this division.